I think one of my most crazy moments was probably a trip to the Philippines, where I had to play a festival which wasn't on the main island in the Philippines. Philippines has different islands. It was like on one in the south of the main island. So I took a straight flight from Brussels, where I live, to Manila, the capital, and then I got there and they said like, we will come pick you up. So I was waiting for an hour. And if you know Manila airport, it's pretty crazy because you come where everyone comes and just waits, and there's like levels of people waiting for you. So it's pretty like a stadium, like people screaming because they see someone they know. So I'll be waiting there with my bag. Nobody comes. I try the phone that they gave me. Nothing works. I'm like, okay. My buddy, who's from Singapore, who was also there, said, no, I can come pick you up maybe, and then we go all together. I'm like, okay. So at the same time, I try again, and someone picks up and say, oh, Lefto, yes, we have a seaplane ready for you. Like, seaplane? Yeah, yes, you know those planes that land on water, and then I'm like, oh no, I don't really like planes. I'm like, I'm cool. I'll go with my friend who just called me. We're cool. We'll just find it. So we drove through Manila traffic, which is pretty crazy. And we got stuck at some point, and we didn't know why. And then we start seeing like dark smoke. Like, wow. So there was a bushfire. So a little further up on that road. And like, okay, so we got stuck for an hour. Then finally we go through, we can go. We drive another hour and a half. We get to that one place where we're supposed to catch a boat to go to that one island that I was supposed to go. So we get there, it's pretty ghetto, it's pretty chaotic. It's like you ask something and everyone says, hey, it's this way, no, it's that way. So pretty crazy. So we ask, oh, how do I get there? Oh, take that boat, it's gonna take you there. It's late already. It's like the sun's going down. Like it's almost it's sunset, and we're on a pretty sketchy boat. Like it's all wood, but the way they make them, it's really solid. But it's still like, there was big waves and stuff. So it was like, and around us were like kids, like 4 or 5 year old kids that prior to that asked me like, kid, do you have a cigarette? Can I get the rest of your Coke that I had in my hand? It's very poor down there. So they were all circulating around that boat and trying, so we had to we had to watch out for our stuff. So we get to that island. I had no money, like local money on me, and everything was with money. So my friend luckily had some money. And then we get there, and then there's a tax you have to pay to get on that island. I was like, okay, so do you have some money? And no, we don't have. So in the end, they went with us to an ATM to get them some money so we could stay on that island, where I was obviously supposed to be. And I get there, and then I call again, and I'm like, yo, I'm here. How do I get to the venue, to the festival thing? And they were like, oh, you're on the other side of the island. This is not the right boat you took. So I'm like, okay, so what do I do now? There's no cars on the island, so you're gonna have to do it. You have to kind of find your way. And I'm like, okay. So I show to those guys, the taxi boys, they have tricycles and bikes. Like, how do I get there? And it's like, okay, well, this is like a 25-minute ride on that tricycle. So a tricycle is like the regular bike with a little box with another wheel. So me and my friend, we had a tricycle. I had the luggage like this on a tricycle, like all my stuff and just a few records. So we get through the, I would call it jungle almost, like 20 minutes past that thing. And then he stops me there and he says like, now you take a boat. I'm like, why do I take a boat? Because where you're staying, your hotel where you're staying, there's only one way to go, it's by boat. So back on a boat, and again, I had no money, so my friend was like, again, little money. Then it was another 20-minute boat ride on the way, like all the way around the island. And then I get to my hotel and it's like 2 a.m. So I was on the road for 27 hours almost. 2 a.m. And then I get to the hotel and I'm like, yes, I'm here. I have a reservation. And they can't find a reservation. I'm like, oh, okay, fine. So I call again. And they're like, okay, no, okay, they don't have my room ready or anything. So I gave my phone to the receptionist, and then they sorted it out, and I had to wait another 2 hours at the hotel before I could get actually in one of those tree huts that they had, which is beautiful, of course, but you know, it's pretty tough to wait another 2 hours when you get somewhere. So I get to that room, and then I could finally sleep for 1 hour, because after that, 10, 15 different kinds of animals started making noise at night. So there was basically a huge frog under my hotel hut. So I couldn't sleep for the whole night. That's my story. It's a pretty crazy story when you live it. I don't know when you tell it. It's even if it's crazy, but you know, that's the kind of story that I remind, because it was probably my craziest trip ever. At being somewhere where people don't really know what you're saying or what your language is, and having no cash, which is really killer in those countries. I was stupid not having any cash, because everything was cash only, boat, everything. Like, you come with your credit card, it's like, what is this? Fortunately, the show was the day after, and even having the show the day after, I didn't even know where the show was. So when they told me they would pick me up, I didn't realize that I had again to get on one of those boats before getting on a kind of those, how do you call them again? Those vans in those taxi in the Philippines. Yeah, the rickshaw. So, and that was another hour into the nature, and it was a beautiful place with like a natural amphitheater. So yeah, made naturally, with palm trees and people just laying on the curve of the hill, you know, like, it's beautiful. So yeah, fortunately it was the day after. So the promoter picked me up in a rickshaw, and then we went 1 hour up in the hills, in the mountains. Well, it's not really mountains, let's say big hills, straight to that one venue, which was beautiful. This is my crazy, wild tour through the Philippines. Pretty crazy, Philippines.